I'm a couple days late on this one, I know. Stuff just gets away from you sometimes. But before we move on to Saturday, this upcoming Saturday, 2 days from now, I wanted to go ahead and talk about the season opener for the Washington Huskies in Rutgers because I said that we wouldn't be able to learn much from this game. And if the game had proceeded as I had more or less expected, I may have not even made a video because it doesn't mean anything. But this meant something because I was not impressed. In fact, by halftime, not even halftime, I would say halfway through the second quarter, I was getting legitimately concerned about this team. Where do you want to start with this one? Well, Huskies win 30-14. They go on the road, beat a team that is clearly improved from last year. So there's that. You can live with that. It's something that you can end up forgetting about in a month if you play better going forward. But there are two huge things that watching this game made you think about. And they might not go away. They might, but if they don't, you're going to have a tough time. So in the first half and throughout most of the game, I would say, but especially that first half, there were two units on this Washington Husky team that were just sinking the whole ship. Offensive line, defensive line. Our pad levels on the lines were not good. And everything that happened bad in this game pretty much came from that. Offensively, offensive line, they weren't opening up holes for the ground game. Our running game was very mediocre. Probably not even that given who we were playing. Gaskin did his work, but Lavon Coleman, who got most of the carries, which I don't totally get that. I don't know why Coleman would be getting carries ahead of Gaskin, but he did. And Coleman is good enough to produce at an NFL level. And Friday night, so nearly a week ago, he did not. And what I saw was an offensive line that was getting overwhelmed and not opening up any holes. And passing game. This should be one of those college football mismatch games. This was not us playing against even a team that aspires to win like 8 games this year. This is not a second tier or third tier college program. This is Rutgers. There should be a massive physical mismatch between our linemen and their linemen, and I did not see that out there. They got pressure on Browning. They sacked him a couple of times, and throughout the whole game, it was really tough for him to get settled. So that is a huge failure on the part of our offensive line. And if this is how they play against Rutgers, what are they going to do against some of our Pac-12 divisional opponents? And as much as USC and UCLA did not look great in their games either, still, how are you going to produce on offense if you cannot get your offensive line going? Now, Jake Browning, he didn't play that well. I thought he missed a few throws that he almost always hits. He did not impress me in this game, but he wasn't bad. He just wasn't very good. So, sure, you want to put a little bit of this on Jake, go right ahead. He didn't play his best game at all. Other than that, you move to your defense. Defensive line. And again, physical mismatch. Your recruits against Rutgers recruits. It should not be a contest, and for most of this game it was. We did not get that much pressure on the quarterback. They were consistently opening up holes in the running game for 4-yard, 5-yard, 6-yard gains. They were busting longer carries. The tackling, not great, but yeah, by the end of the game, you would look at the production of the defense and say, yeah, they did good, but especially that first half, they were running through us, and we looked like we couldn't do anything about it. Whenever they needed to complete a short pass on a third down, they would get it. Whenever they needed to run for a big first down, they got it. And we looked helpless out there for part of that game. And given who we are and who they are, that shouldn't be happening. And we did not look like a team that should be ranked in the top 10. We maybe didn't even look like a team that should be ranked at all, because our lines, that should be a physical mismatch, and it wasn't. Now, game went on, things got better. Gaskin, player of the game. In the passing game, he was a big-time receiver for us. In the running game, he was our best running back. For some reason, didn't see a majority of the carries, but he was the player of the game for sure. Dante Pettis, big punt return for a touchdown, couple of big plays in the passing game. Drew Sample, very high on that guy. That guy looks like, he looks like Jimmy Graham out there on some of those plays. And if he could be the next big Washington tight end, that changes how you feel about the team this year. Excuse me, guys. Sorry. Defensively, other than the defensive line, I thought they played okay. At the end of the day, you'll take holding your opposing quarterback to a 5.2 yards per yard per attempt average. You will take giving up 3 yards of carry on the ground. It's just the way we got there was a little uncomfortable, but we gave up a bunch of short stuff underneath, which is frustrating, but ultimately it produced a favorable result, so I can't get too mad about that. We had a couple of interceptions as well, so we won the turnover battle 2-zip. Byron Murphy, yeah, there we go. Byron Murphy had the 2 picks, which you like to see. And at the end of the day, you're 1-0. You're getting out of there 1-0, knowing that you have a lot to improve on, but I don't know, guys. I just wasn't impressed. Shout out to the suspended guys who are going to get back. Victor Azim, and we also have a cornerback whose name escapes me. They're going to get back in the next week or two. So hopefully that makes a big difference, because, yeah, we're going to need to be a lot better than that if we want to win this conference again. So we're playing I think we're playing Montana or Wyoming this week. It's another game where you can't learn too much from. So I'll talk about it before we play, but show me something, guys.